Dear I, live and let live.
Now give the best of you, for that's what remains. Love the worst in you to heal your pain. And I'm so sorry we met to part ways, but if it's destiny, we'll come around again. And it's life's symphony, teach us to grow. Hold on to everything, learn to let go. You sparked the best in me, so I can stand alone. It's with the best in me, I find my way home. Gonna stop right here where I stand, not going down, not going down. Bring myself back from the ground, home now. Just look right here where you stand, stop running around when the answer's always been with you. Love sparks the best in us, you can heal, you have to trust. Accepting destiny is hard but real. And all the goodness that we bring comes from your own light within. To never lose the best in you. Honor
the man
your
of the
life.
hour, no?
Honor your life. Gonna stop right here where I stand, not going down, not going down. Bring myself back from the ground, home now.
If you don't mind me being so forward, I envisioned that place in your life back when we were at Venice Full Circle and you were breaking open to me about what you were going through personally.
Oh, for sure.
So was that something you lyrically carried over to the studio?
Yeah. I mean, it's all intrinsic, right? Like you can't separate your music from your personal life at that point. But yes, that particular song was about having to embrace the things that have happened in your life rather than resisting them, you know? So like, acceptance is a radical thing to allow yourself to go through. It's so hard to accept, like things like betrayal or the loss of a loved one, but ultimately like not accepting something that's actually happened doesn't serve you. So you have to go through this embracing, you have to embrace it. And once you go through that embracing, it's actually, there lies the kind of the healing, the other side of that embrace.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to go through it. And also that song was also inspired by, how there tends to be like an illusionary fear, like with people, like if you just, anywhere in the world and just that little like, oh, who are you? Like, hey, like what's that barrier? Like, hello, and it's because unfortunately so many people, there does exist like, negative kind of negativity, and people have shielded themselves off in fear of receiving some kind of negative interaction, But the Embrace campaign, we just went out and like hugged people and we just met, and I believe that most people, well, all of us, like we're open and willing to connect with each other. It's just like, it's more like the illusion of a potential problem, but there's really no problem.
Look right here where you stand, stop running around when the answer's always been with you. Love it with true meaning now. Follow your heart's feelings. Your fine goodness will keep coming back around to you. Loving with true meaning now. Follow your heart's feelings. Your fine goodness will keep coming back around to you. Gonna stop right here where I stand, not going down, not going down. Bring myself back from the ground, home now. Just look right here where you stand, stop running around when the answer's always been with you. Gonna stop right here where I stand, not going down, not going down. Bring myself back from the ground, home now. Just look right here where you stand, stop running around when the answer's always been with you.
able to say what you truly feel to, let's say, your best friend or someone you care about and trust, or feel betrayed, or any of those emotions. A lot of us suppress it, and so we think, you know, it's our reaction, flight, fight, or freeze, and we don't know how to deal with it in such a way where we're like having dialogue in a intimate, conflictual, and meaningful way, you know. So it's interesting you brought that up.
Well, it brings it up to the surface, doesn't it? Like as hard as it might be to come through, like it's if we avoid disease, like if we avoid conversations that we need to have to, like if we just do this avoidance thing and like the opposite of embracing things, then you end up building up pressure and building up something that eventually is going to weigh a lot heavier on you than if you just embrace things as they come up, as they come through. Like we have to have counsel as families, as friends, right? Like to talk about things, and you can't just, you know, it's constantly processing everything. So
I'm getting into cryptocurrency.
Don't you do that. That's an addiction.
No, it's more exploration.
Dogecoin and
No. Not to make.
Everybody's like, have you gotten this coin? I'm like, I'm an apple.
Yeah.
X-coin and rough coin and meow coin and what else is new? I haven't even opened that box.
I'm sending this to Justin Wu.
Seriously. Everyone's like, you gotta get in now, dude. You gotta get in now. Like, fuck off,
That
right?
was fun.
But they haven't been taught any different, like, you know what I mean? Like, for me, I didn't really
Can I
grow up
film
with
you?
a mum. Oh, yeah, if you want.
Okay, can I film? I just want to make sure you get everyone's permission. Okay, all right, cool.
No, we're not good at doing what this is.
Do it. Cheers.
That's good.
That'll be the first time.
I said that.
Tyler, you as well. First guy's on top of right now.
But yeah, so when you don't have a woman figure in your life, someone that's taught you how to treat women or respect women, where do you learn? Because you basically attract women like your mother, and you keep trying to find that mother figure where you're never really growing through that vacancy of that female figure in your life, right?
Yeah.
So and a lot of us grew up without like parents that showed up. Like I know so many of my friends' parents were junkies and never home. Like a lot of us that grew up were like that.
Latchkey kids is what we
Yeah. And I was like one of thousands that I knew that had, you know, parents that were alcoholics and all sorts of stuff. So as your foundation for a female figure in your life is not there, my mum was never around, how on earth would you ever even know how to treat a woman or even communicate with a woman? It's all men, it's all that masculinity, right? And so it's an interesting journey, like when you speak to men, because a lot of them have mother issues. You know what I mean? And so it's just, I guess it's just educating the children on how to embrace like your emotions and how to understand your emotions and being sensitive in this world that squashes sensitivity out of you. You know what I mean?
It's kind of amazing. There's the movements with women. You know? I was raised by women. The most important people in my life are women. But what do the men do not to compete or anything, but to raise the culture for them and step
Hold
up?
space for their women. How do men hold space for a woman to be in her power without overpowering him and he tries to pull her down?
Raising other men and young men and boys to be the men they deserve to be, you know? It's like, we're not culturally doing that. We're just kind of sitting by the wayside watching all the movements, like the Me Too movement, but where the guys are like, fuck yeah, screw those bastards. Let's all heal together. Let's work on this. It's just not happening. We're not congregating that, you know? But the funny thing is that him and I, everything we do in our business and our personal lives is about this, you know?
We reflect on everything. Every business decision, every life decision, we break it down, we talk about it, we see the pros and cons, and it's pretty amazing how we do that, you know. Drue grew up with a beautiful mother and had a beautiful sister, and so he's guided me a lot as a friend on women, how to treat women, because he grew up around that. It's interesting
No,
stuff.
I want you to be in a circle.
And I guess
my dad was a Jew.
This is Tyler. Oh, you met. Okay. And Drue, you met.
When I learned the end of
That's
this life,
you go ahead.
it was.
It is a rolling.
Ironically, what I learned at the end of it is that
partner, both in the conscious movement of producing and writing films that bring out
didn't understand that until
awareness
he
about conscious
destroyed
movement.
himself.
Yeah, so
My mother and father
Tyler's
both taught the same thing in different ways. They both said you gotta marry your best friend. You gotta marry someone that you have some fun with, that you genuinely love.
Relationship,
and
intimacy.
It's just sad because I think the only great men that
a film called The Love
of
Effect,
any age are
raising
men
awareness
that were
about
raised by
suicide
them.
among
So
men.
fuck.
So
You gotta do something.
There's
about
an
this.
interesting
So,
concept
yeah,
to
that's
that
how-
though. Is you'll see there's some great books like if you guys want to learn more like in the psychology like classic field though. One is Finding the Love You Want. It's on imago theory. It could actually be the opposite. If you're raised by a single mother and the mother's non-existent or works a lot, or women can be very abusive emotionally too, then it can be the opposite.
It can be the opposite.
Yeah, it can be absolutely.
there's so
it's
many.
the hate. I mean, most ironically,
resentment.
most serial killers, it usually results back to their mother.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I believe it. I buy it. 100%. 100%.
And I think it starts with the youth, the bullying, the anti-bullying campaigns, and the video games and the movies and the social media and all those things with the pharmaceutical companies, hitting the younger generation.
They're smashing them.
Yeah.
From birth.
And now, I mean, I don't know everybody's view here, but like legalization of marijuana, it's still a doping down. It's still that I need something that relax my consciousness, that keeps me from connecting with my personal I, myself, as opposed to something outside of me.
So you're anti-weed?
Yeah, I don't do any drugs or.
But what about in the water with all like the heavy metals and the chlorine and the fluoride?
Absolutely.
And then from all the vaccination?
I'm anti-vaccine, so I share with him my 17-year-old son is severely vaccine injured.
Oh wow.
He's terminally ill. He has grand mal seizures.
Oh, we're like anti-vaccine. I was never vaccinated.
That's my nonprofit. That when she mentioned I have two nonprofits. One is for medical freedom and opting out of the toxic agenda.
Yeah.
So helping families that have been vaccine injured and those that have already opted out. So we're part of a whole movement in Los Angeles.
San Diego near Encinitas, and grounding in and creating, and it's just the next phase for me.
Now, in our original interview, you said there was a song that you haven't yet released, and it wasn't A Place Called Home, was it? It was something different.
It was something different, and that's going to be released this year, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know the title now?
If it's the one we're talking about, Where There's Love, I think that's... but I think you were also wanting the one for A Place Called Home.
Yes, right? I wanted, because A Place Called Home is just, I mean, you have this ability to just like hit home. And I want to share something too. Blessing, that song you wrote. So recently, there was a gentleman in my life I fell in love with, and he unfortunately couldn't reciprocate it. So that was a song I gifted to him. I'm like, he found someone he loved, and it's not about me. And a lot of that came from the space that you and Jamie talked about letting go. And then furthermore, Blessing was just the perfect song. And I was like, dude, if every other girl in this universe could gift that song to a gentleman that they, had an attachment to a certain result, but being able to let that go. I mean, honestly, that's like the anthem. That's like the anthem.
Yeah. Thank you for reflecting that. I just got chills over my body just receiving that from you, and thank you. That it was something that birthed just really organically from me, and it's the thing that fills me up about sharing the music is having people receive it in that way and be able to use it and apply it in their own life. So to me, that song is an anthem of just such unconditional love, and like that letting go is what a lot of unconditional love is about, that non-attachment, and doing it in a way that's not vengeful or spiteful or whatever, but really like letting go with absolute and complete unconditional care for that person's health and well-being. And that's a big thing to step into, especially when we're going through pain and turmoil around whatever caused the separation. So yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
I realize that everything's in relation to mental health, relationships, how we feel about ourselves, and love especially. I mean, every time I interview people and ask them what's their definition of love, or what do they think about it, they're always like, what you're talking about. But that's going back to stigma. It's like, why is that an uncomfortable thing? Why is it a weird thing? You know, spiritualism and yoga and all that is becoming more popularized. So I feel like relationships and love should be more popularized. Yeah, I don't know. And going back to the hero's journey, that's the story of Christ. It's the story of all religions, the hero's journey, and we relate to that because we're told about this hero that has something special within, that if they are vulnerable and develop themselves, they can be a hero to other people. It's every film out there, you know. So, and that's very much a cinema thing. So, a lot of my work is about love and mental health advocacy, but understanding self and understanding character, characters with flaws and merits.
I think that there's a gap between the mental health community and the film industry and the artist industry in general, because I hadn't heard of the hero's journey until I started volunteering with film producers and movie directors in the social entrepreneurial space. The degree at USC were a hybrid between the Marshall School of Business on social entrepreneurialism and education. And
wow.
What I learned as I practiced as a marriage and family therapist for 20 years, and what I learned with the hero's journey is what we're taught in graduate school is the drama triangle, which is essentially the internal dialogue and the spiritual, communicative self-talk aspect that is exactly how people describe in the film industry the hero's journey. Yeah. So it's the persecutor, the victim, and the savior, and that our own internal dialogue goes through that particular process, and then when we cross-meta-analyze it to childhood development and how at certain, like Piaget and Erikson, different developmental stages, the self-talk and then the engagement between relationships, and then the macro level of culture, like what the religion and the spiritual pieces bridge, like I haven't really seen that. Yeah. And now we've got obviously the proliferation of pharmaceutical, or we like to call it pharmakia, sorcery. Yeah. And then the labeling, just like the name calling and the bullying, and that era, I think you talked about it, started with us.
Yes. And it's interesting because they pump so much fear and propaganda over this issue when every test result, like they won't test certain things within this category, and they expect us to trust the government when it's proven time and time again what the fuck they're doing to it.
There's an awesome museum I keep telling her I want to take her to. Maybe we can all go one day. It's called CCHR. It's the Citizens Commission on Human Rights.
Oh wow!
And it's an entire historical museum that takes you through from World War I to World War II to obviously the civil rights movement and the apartheid that was occurring globally, and how they created the Diagnostic Statistical Manual and Pharmaceutical America to carry on the work of Mussolini's and Hitler's and that type of mentality. Wow. And it walks you through literally historically from the 1700s and ends with like Columbine, and now we're seeing like all these mass shootings.
Oh yeah, and they're all on psychotropic drugs.
And it covers Hollywood. So there's a whole, if you guys are in the movie industry, it covers all of Hollywood and looks at like Robin Williams to all the most recent deaths that are all correlated to, especially because they start to talk. Yeah. When you awake and you're in the self-actualization and become enlightened, then you start to feel that passion. Yeah, and so it's a whole organization that advocates, shows you, like, if you walk out there like, holy shit, man, my mind is blown. Yeah. It's right on Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh well, we'll check it out. Yeah, we've done a lot of research into that, but
this is like research like on
that
track.
On top of them playing like these murder video games for 12 hours a day and taking psychotropic drugs, they don't understand reality and non-reality.
I stopped playing video games, one, to have a girlfriend, two, to become a filmmaker, because I loved it so much. And there were games that didn't like grow my ability to tell stories, but there was no self-control. My parents didn't give a shit.
Have you studied the history of video games? And they all have 3 mind conditioning themes to them, similar to the heroes. I'll find the documentary for you on it.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's 100% conditioning. I mean, military soldiers play certain video games to sharpen their skills.
It does. It hyperperfuses the areas of your brain to help you carry out the mission.
So I spoke to somebody in the Army, and they said that they do a video game that they don't know exactly what they're doing, but they're actually that there's actually things that they're like, it's like missiles.
Yeah.
But they don't know that they don't see it. They're in a room like a video game.
Yeah.
Ender's Game. Have you seen the movie Ender's Game?
No.
It's about that. It's exactly what you just said.
Yeah,
But
this guy was telling me that's what he does.
Yep.
Like, how do you do that? How do you?
The halogen.
yeah, that's how they do it. They desensitize you, so it's okay for you to press that button that's going to kill a life, you know?
It's just
Yeah.
mind blowing.
I know.
Where's our water?
And they're building, you know, like robots and
Yeah.
artificial intelligence is
Yeah.
nuts. I'm like, oh my god.
It's wild.
It is
Yeah.
Now give the best of you, for that's what remains. Love the worst in you to heal your pain. And I'm so sorry we met to part ways, but if it's destiny, we'll come round again. And it's life's symphony, teach us to grow. Hold on to everything, learn to let go. You sparked the best of me, so I can stand alone. It's with the best of me, I find my way home. Gonna stop right here where I stand, not going down, not going down. Bring myself back from the ground, home now. Just look right here where you stand, stop running around when the answer's always been with you. Love sparks the best in us, you can heal, you have to trust. Accepting destiny is hard but real. All the goodness that we bring comes from your own light within. So never lose the best in you, honor your life.